The Canadian government recently just launched an utter tirade of baloney and nonsense against Chinese electric cars, saying they were going to destroy the Canadian automotive industry, which is apparently a thing. But anyhow, irrespective of that, BYD have said, yeah, whatever, we're going to sell our EVs in Canada. We're coming, whether you like it or not. And I think most Canadians are going to be saying, well, hell yeah, we like it. Bring them, please. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Now, this will mean, guys, you live in Canada, you'll be able to buy an EV for less money than what you ever could have before. Very likely BYD will undercut everyone currently in the market in Canada with a range of different models. BYD have more electric car models than, I believe, than any other car manufacturer in the world. And they're extremely affordable, as we here in Australia can attest to. Not only affordable, they're actually very good. If you had been buying BYD EV a couple of years ago, you would have been a bit frustrated. There were some software issues. I got blasted for pointing this out. I think it's because if you bought a BYD, and particularly if you bought one because I recommended it, you think, hang on a minute, this guy's recommended me buying an EV. Now he's saying there's problems with it. F him, we hate that guy. So that's what sort of happened to me. But guys, those software problems have been fixed. That's what my wife even pointed out to me. She's like, this car's really annoying me. These software things are just like, BYD have listened and they fixed that stuff. So that's awesome. They've done that. They've provided many over-the-air updates, much more than if you put all the over-the-air software updates of Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, Ford, General Motors, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Suzuki, Mazda, put them all together. Well, yeah, probably Tesla's done more than updates than they all have all together, and probably BYD's done about half the number, because Tesla and BYD both do legitimate over-the-air updates, whereas most other manufacturers, over-the-air update, yeah, come into the dealership to get your over-the-air update done. What the hell is that all about? So anyway, getting back to BYD and Canada. The largest Chinese EV company is coming to Canada. It's unofficial, but apparently there is actual information about this in a BYD press release. In a joint press release as well between Uber and BYD, the companies announced a new partnership to offer Uber drivers discounted pricing and financing. Now, in this press release, which is really talking about this deal between BYD and Uber, where BYD are essentially selling 100,000 EVs to Uber. In that press release, it mentions that some of those EVs are going to Canada. And obviously BYD does not currently sell EVs in Canada. Therefore, one would conclude, logically, that this means BYD EVs will be for sale in Canada. It'd be pretty weird if you can sit in an EV, a BYD electric car, to get an Uber in Canada, and they'll be everywhere, but you can't buy one. So yeah. It also mentions, in fact, that some of those EVs will be going to places like the Middle East, Australia, and New Zealand. Now, BYD, you can buy their vehicles in Brazil, you can buy them in Mexico, you can buy them in other South American countries. So not in the US. The US will be like the only country where you can't buy them. BYD did plan on, and they still plan on, building a factory in Mexico. Now their plan, revealed this is true, their plan was to basically build these vehicles in Mexico, then ship them across to the United States, where it would mean that they wouldn't have to pay any tariffs on Chinese EVs. Now, obviously the US government's not particularly happy about that, so that might not be possible, but I believe BYD regardless are going to go ahead with that factory anyway. If BYD established sufficient production in Mexico or Canada, they could produce vehicles in either market. Now, what I think could happen here, guys, is possibly BYD, if they go ahead with this factory in Mexico, which it sounds like they definitely are, they could ship some of those cars to Canada. It's not very far away. In addition to that, BYD, I've heard rumors, are potentially going to build EVs in Canada as well. Apparently there's discussions with Canadian politicians or whatever for BYD to potentially build EVs there as well. Now, they'd probably be more likely reassembling them, that sort of thing. But anyway, now would BYD manufacturing EVs in Canada and Mexico stop them from having all these problems in the United States? Well, probably not. BYD actually has factories in America right now, in the United States right now already. Bizarrely, I've mentioned this about 100 times, but most people in America don't seem to know this. They have, in fact, thousands of staff in America as well. And this is in California. They have this, by the way, but they don't manufacture cars. They manufacture school buses and trucks and actual buses. So yeah, they produce vehicles there. But years ago, before Joe Biden was the president of America, he was ranting and railing about how he hated BYD and they shouldn't be in America and all this stuff. Now, interestingly, this is sort of something that no one seems to know, but when he was a senator, that was a big part of what Joe Biden was kind of crusading against, BYD. I'm not really sure why, because, I mean, that's employing Americans. It's American jobs. Production of these vehicles is in America. It's pretty much bespoke production. It's not like BYD just shipping all their parts over from China and simply doing some sort of quick assembly in the United States. They really do build the vehicles in the US. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of positive sentiment for BYD at the moment from the American government, which is sort of disappointing because, I mean, BYD are not owned by the Chinese government. Yeah, they do get some subsidies from the Chinese government, but General Motors gets subsidies from the American government. I mean, every car brand gets subsidies from their own government. You'd be pretty stupid to say no to that. So I don't really understand the negative sentiment around BYD. I don't think they've done anything wrong, said anything wrong. I think America should just ease up a bit. But of course, America wants to protect Ford and General Motors and Stellantis, and well, they should be very worried because those car manufacturers, their sales in China have just fallen through into the toilet, fallen through the floor. They're becoming less and less relevant. So essentially, Ford and GM now are like a North American car companies where they sell cars on the American continent, and their sales outside the American continent are pitiful. That's why the US are worried. They're worried that the automotive industry will be annihilated, and that very well could happen regardless of what the US government does. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.